na delta footprints vizuri venye inafaa sasa. So that's what we are going to cover for now. So I hope kila mtu ako na go charting yake ama kila mtu ako na footprint charts zake sasa from our bash side. You can actually listen, then you'll practice baadaye, you'll learn and practice baadaye. Now we'll start by understanding the buy and sell volume footprints. So buy and sell hizo tulifanya jana, but let me repeat for the sake of watu wenye hakuwa na footprints jana. So buy volume is obviously tulisema ni executions zenye transactions zenye zinakuwa executed on the ask price. So tulisema kitu inakaje, let me show you. So tulisema kitu kwa each and every footprint. Now these are candlestick, lazima kukuwa na candlestick. After candlestick footprints sasa ziko hapa hivi kando, they are two, utapata ziko hivi sasa. So mwenye ame-unmute mic yake hebu unmute. Akenga, you've unmuted your microphone. So on the left side, hizi transactions zote zinafanywa on the left side zinaitangwa nini? Zinaitangwa sell volume. So sell volume inakuwa on the bid price. Transactions zote zinafanywa on the right side, hizi tulisema ndo buy volume. So buy volume zinakuwa on the ask side. So ask ni buys, bid ni sellers. So bid ni left, ask ni this side. So any transaction done on the left side, that's sell volume. Any transaction done on the ask side, that's a buy volume. So sell volumes are the transactions executed at the bid price. So only aggressive sellers. So we can only see aggressive sellers from here. Buy volumes ni transaction zimekuwa executed at the ask price. So our side right ni aggressive buyers. So now that was a representation of footprint chart. So if you take a look at this, let me zoom at one footprint chart. Like this one, if you take a look at this footprint, you can see there are different volumes. So yetu ikae ati hivi, then inawekwa ati square hivi katikati. So wanaweka two numbers, then like multiplication, like utapata iko like 10 times 20 or 1 times 3. So times doesn't mean anything. Ni could differentiate two sides. So this side for buyers, this side for sellers. So basically hapa kuna 10 sellers, hapa kuna 20 buyers. So usisahau buyers ni usaidia left. So usisikie jina bid, watu wengi usikia bid wanadhania ni bid for buyers, but ni bid for sellers. Ask for buyers. So ni insights gani unafaa kupata from the buy and sell volumes? So by now I hope during class in your beginners to intermediate, I hope by now everyone can trade support and resistance. Support and resistance is the most common strategy. So I hope by now kila mtu anajua kutrade support and resistance. So I want to show you an example. Let me show an example. An example like this, basically, kwa resistance level, tunakuanga na two confirmations. Then the third one, tunaingia buy positions. So for example, let me make this a little one bigger. So this was the first confirmation, second confirmation. Hapa hivi tulikuwa tunafaa kuingia nini? Sales. But you can see the price ilikuja kama imepita. So if you see large buy volume at a resistance level, hiyo ina indicate nini? Possible breakout attempt. You see, so anytime you're trading support and resistance, hapa you expected to see a lot of sell volume, you're finding go to sell. But anytime you see large buy volume at a resistance level, that usually indicate possible breakout. So let's see what happened at this specific zone. So in case tumepata ni large sell volumes ziko hapo hivyo, we were clearly allowed to go in for sell positions. But we can see the footprint yenye iliguza hapa hivi ilikuwa na aggressive buyers. Actually ilikuwa na 462 aggressive buyers. So there was no way tungekuja kutafuta sell position at this specific point. So we knew clearly a breakout would probably happen at this zone simply because there is a lot of buys. So if you zoom in clearly, yeah?
You can't hear. Okay, now I can see your chat. It's okay.
So in case ukose kuona chats or screen, make sure you log out, then you log in. Maybe it's a network on your side. Now, as I was saying, so if you check at these specific footprint, so tunaangalia. Yeah, so as I was saying, you can clearly see, nakumbuka tukifanya imbalance jana tukasema imbalance is the difference between buyers and sellers. So imagine place unapata kuna 0 sellers by 110,000 buyers. What do you expect market to do? You don't expect the market to go down and sellers ni 0. You expect the market to go up because there is a lot of buy volume. So you see, so 0 sellers by 110k buyers, you expect the market to break out, like what happened at this specific zone. So nisonyeshe kitu kidogo na muone. So you can see at this footprint this cell yenye nimesako hapa hivi kuna 0 sellers by 110,000 buyers. So that was so obvious, and we expected the market to break up. So how do you gonna trade the normal support and resistance? There is no way ulikuja kusell hapa. You obviously touch ya tatu sino tunajuanga tuna sell. This was the first touch, second touch. Hapa hivi ndo tulikuwa tuna expect after sell positions. So there is no way ulikuja kusell hapa ukiona aggressive buyers. But sasa mtu atumii footprint charts, yeye aligoja tu market iguze hapo hivyo kama place nini? Aligoja market iguze tu. Ni nani huyu? So aligoja tu market iguze at this point kama place nini? Sell positions. Now I hope unaona sasa advantage a volume footprint, bid and ask footprints. Confirmia no, don't do start a sell position up for kuna a lot of aggressive buyers. So the only time we sell, tuna selling it to the moment tunaona sellers wamekuwa wengi kuliko buyers. Haya. So that was one example. We can do another example. So we are still doing support and resistance. So I hope kila mtu by now anaweza trade support and resistance. It's very, very, very common. Kutojua support and resistance, it's not good at all. Let me see. I'm looking for a perfect support and resistance zone, like that specific zone. So first, you switch to candlesticks, then you can switch to, you switch to candlesticks, then you switch to the footprint chart. Now, if you take a look at this zone, this was my first confirmation, and this second confirmation. So we are supposed to do what here? We are supposed to sell here. On the third touch ndo huwa tuna sell. Sasa tukikuja hapa hivi tuangalia nini? Tuangalia footprint yenye iliguza that specific area ndo tujue kama tulikuwa tunafaa kusell ama kufanya nini. If you take a look clearly, let me see whether I've covered the wicks. You should cover the wicks like that. So the end of footprint yenye iliguza this specific zone. Tuone kama ingetupea this sell opportunity ya kushuka nayo mpaka na kuvi chini. So we are looking for sellers wengi kuliko buyers wengi. And simply we are going to check bid and ask footprints tuone side ya bid ama side ya ask ni wapi kuna watu wengi. Haya. So you can clearly see here, this is the footprint yenye iliguza this specific resistance of us. Ukiangalia hii footprint, you can actually check kama ni sellers wengi ama ni buyers wengi. So you can check, utatumia tu macho kuangalia ama you can use kitu inaitwa delta. But by clearly looking at this thing, unaangalia unaona tu side ya sellers kuna a lot of sellers. So for example, 1,000 by 2, 1,000 by 4, 63,000 by 2, 53,000 by 6K, 12,000 by 1K, 97,000 by 9K, 98,000 by 8K, 177, and so on. Our side kuna sellers wengi compared na our buyers when your koi side. So what did you expect market to do? So that was clearly a good sell opportunity. So we only take our sell positions the moment tumeona nini? The moment tumeona aggressive sellers. We don't take sell positions mpaka tuone the footprint yenye imeguza our resistance zone iko na sellers wengi kuliko buyers wengi. So that was just an example. So tumesema if there's large buy orders at resistance level, kuna na possible breakout. You don't trade that zone. See, for example, at this specific zone, tulikuwa tuna expect nini? Kusell hapa. Si ndio? Si pia touch ya nne tulikuwa tuna expect kuuza ifanye nini? It drop. But I'm pretty sure tukiingia tutapata there were a lot of aggressive buyers than sellers, which were not supposed to go in for sell position. Now, take a look at nimezoom sana. Sitaki kuzoom sana, nataka ni zoom in a way that mtaona these footprint charts like that. Yeah, like that. Now take a look at this footprint juu ndo iliguza. Yeah, ikuguza, so we can't look at this. Tunaangalia yenye iliguza our zone. So take a look at this specific footprint. What do you see? Kwanza hapa hivi juu unaona kuna 0 sellers by 14,000 buyers. Ya pili 0 sellers by 5,000 buyers. Ya tatu 13 sellers by 11,000 sellers. Ya nne 0 sellers by 0 sellers by 91,000 buyers. Hiyo ingine 0 sellers by 103,000 buyers. So what did you expect? You never expected the market to shoot down. Kulikuwa na a lot of 0 sellers. You expected the market to break out. So that's what happens. So wewe juu ulikuwa na footprints, you are not supposed to do what? Ukiwa na footprints, you are not supposed to sell here. Unaona hao aggressive buyers wote na bado unataka kusell. Sasa unasaidia kana nani na there is no sellers. You see? So wewe ulikuwa tu unafaa kujua automatically the market is going to break up upper side. And that's exactly what happened. You can see the market ilikuja ika break. Then after market will break ikakuja kufanya nini? Ika retest watu wenye watu wa support na resistance mnajua after breakout tunataka kugoja retest ndo tuingie sasa. So clearly what I was saying, if you see a lot of a large buy volume at a resistance level, there's a possible breakout that's gonna happen. Higher. Then on the seller side, if you see large sales volume on a support zone, there's a potential breakout on the lower side. For example, support zones inakuanga side ya chini. So assume you are trading support zone. Let me look for a good support zone. Where's the market currently? We look for a good support zone that has already been formed. To not a perfect one. So let's take a look at our 15 minutes time frame. What about ICT people? Abdi, I don't trade ICT. So I don't trade ICT. Let's go to 1 minute time frame probably. So anytime you are looking to place buy positions at a support zone, definitely tunakuanga tukitafuta large buy volumes on a support zone. This okay, vizuri. Support and resistance unafaa kuwa very strict with it. That. So this was our first confirmation, second confirmation. So on the third touch, we are supposed to look for what? We're supposed to look for buy positions. So on this touch specifically, tunafaa kuona nini? A lot of buyers compared to sellers. So you just go to your footprint charts and start looking for buyers, not sellers. In case upate kuna a lot of sellers at that zone, you don't take that trade. But in case upate kuna a lot of buyers on that zone, you can comfortably take that trade. You can see the footprint yenye iliguza ni hii yenye kwa hivi. Timku itabidi nianze kusoma price action. It's normal support and resistance. I am pretty sure kuna mtu wajui ya support and resistance. Let me see whether I've drawn that thing correctly. No, nimechora vibaya. So when you're doing support and resistance, make sure at least touches pekee ndo zinaguza hapa hivi. Unaguza tu at the tip of the candlesticks, not inside the body like that. So at the tip, be very precise. But at least nayo ikuonyesha ni candlestick gani iliguza. And so you mean nothing else touched that zone. So let me change that the zone to this one. Hata nikibadilisha kwa hiyo hakuna ingine iliguza. So let me change the zone to this one. So you don't force your trend line. So this will be my first confirmation. This will be my first confirmation. This will be my second confirmation. That is my second confirmation there. So first confirmation down there, my second confirmation here. There. So be very extremely precise. Ukichora hizi trend lines ukuwe very precise. Sana sana ukitumia footprint for confluences. Usikuje weke trend line hapo katikati hivyo. Tuweke trend line katikati hivyo kuja hivi. So ukiweka trend line katikati hivyo itabidi umekuja uangalie candlestick sasa kwa footprint. Unaona? Na haitakuwa good for you. Utakuwa unaangalia the wrong footprint. But ukiweka that trend line precisely like that, exactly like that, utakuja kuangalia footprint gani yenye iliguza. This footprint yenye iliguza like that. So the moment unaweka vibaya, be pretty sure you're going to mess up. And now go to the footprint chart. Tuone ni gani iliguza. Which one touched first? Hii ndio iliguza ya kwanza. This one. So you can see it's a bearish footprint, right? Tunaona ni bearish. Tumejua je ni bearish iko na ni ya red. Si unaona ni ya red. It's a red candlestick. Yes? Meaning ni ya sellers. So, but despite of it being a red candlestick, if we take a look at the volume like this, tuangalie side ya buyers na side ya sellers ni akina nani wengi, you are going to see that there is a lot of buyers compared to sellers. How do you know that? Tulisema hii kitu inaitwa nini? Tulisema above each and every footprint, hapa hivi juu kunakuwa na kitu inaitwa delta. So delta simply inakufanyianga minus ya buyers minus sellers. If the answer is positive, inamaanisha there's a lot of buyers than sellers. If the answer is negative, inamaanisha there's a lot of sellers than buyers. So if delta is green, kumaanisha buyers ndo wengi. If delta is red, kumaanisha sellers ndo wengi. So simply kwa hii footprint yenye iliguza, hii haikuguza na hii haikuguza. You can see ndo iliguza our support zone. You can see inakuandikia hapo juu clearly this 26,000 aggressive buyers, not sellers, aggressive buyers. So you are supposed simply to go in for buy position. But if by any chance ingekuja kuletea aggressive sellers na hiyo trend ingeguza hapo hivyo, you are supposed to avoid that trade. But as long as imekuletea aggressive buyers ndo wako wengi, as you can see, that trade was safe to take. So don't take any trade kama uja confirm kama buyers ama sellers ndo wengi. Don't try that. Haya. So anytime you're trading and you see delta below 10, sana sana on the currency pairs, if you see delta below 10, inamaanisha nini? That's a neutral delta. So you ikwambi kama sellers ndo aggressive ama buyers ndo aggressive. So if delta is below 10, consider that neutral and don't use that delta to trade at all. So it's like balanced. It's like a consolidation. So don't trade with a delta below 10. I hope everyone gets that. Now, still on the bid and ask footprints in our order flow analysis. So on the ask footprint, tumesema kwamba kunakuwa na buying pressure. So ask footprint hizo zi track nini? As you track buyers. On the bid footprint, hizo zi track nini? Hizo track sellers. Becky, do you have a question?
Yeah, nimenotice kuna hizo numbers ziko highlighted in dark black. So I was wondering what kind of sellers are those? Ni passive ama ni aggressive bado?
On the dark black.
Yeah, ziko dark black. Sio a regular black, dark.
High.
Yeah.
So hizi ndo tulisema jana zinaitwa high volume load. Though we have a whole topic dedicated to that, so we are going to cover that later.
Okay, unaona iko 12K by 8.2 thousand, no?
6.2K, yeah.
Yeah, hiyo 6.2K sasa. So unaona iko black, iko darker than the other numbers which are black.
Yeah, Jundo iko na a lot of volume on that specific footprint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we'll come to cover that.
Okay.
I am. So on the bid and ask footprint, I want us to cover imbalance. Jana tulikuja tu kupitia. I want us to cover imbalance vizuri sana kwa bid and ask footprint. Now, tulisema imbalance is the difference between buyers and sellers. Assume these are specific footprint at a specific area, tuseme probably hapa hivi juu kwenye candlestick imeishia. Assume candlestick imeishia hapa hivyo juu, but there's two buyers by let's say by 100, two sellers by 100 buyers. Now, hapa hivi kuna kitu inaitwa imbalance. So when we have an imbalance of what? We have an imbalance of positive 98. So simply, there were two sell orders and 100 buy contracts. So these 100 minus hizi 2, zilitakiwa, inamaanisha nini? Kuna 98 more buyers wenye hawakupata nini? Sellers. So kitu kaa hiki hapa nita drive market side gani? Juu kuna 98 more buyers. Market tena juu ama chini? Obviously market tena wapi? Tena side ya juu. So sometimes imbalances zinakuwa very 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 tricky to fanya nini? Very tricky to kuhesabu. Sometimes tunapata certain sell na sell tulisema ni hizi boxes. Tutapata asante let me do an example of two cells. Pate sell ya kwanza iko hivyo, sell ya pili iko hivi. So on the first cell pate iko na 900 sellers, and the other one upate kona 950 buyers. On the other hand, utapata the other sale ikona like 2 sellers, then upate iko like 60 buyers. So kwa hizi footprints zote mbili, where do you think kuna a lot of imbalance? So obviously not on this cell. Why? We can clearly see the imbalance of this cell is 50, but the imbalance of this one is 60 minus 2. It's 58, like that. So obviously 58 is larger than 50. So imbalance hapa ni kubwa kuliko hapa. So tuangaliangi ati namba hata upate, maybe unaweza pata kuna ati a difference between of 2000 na hiyo ingine kwa like 2010. Ufikiria hii ya 2010 ni kubwa kuliko hii ya 260, but you can simply see this is 58. Your 2010 is simply what? Is simply 10. So we just take a look, lazima ufanye hizo hesabu zako manually ndio ujue imbalance iko side gani. Na ukiona imbalance ikihappen, inakuwa na possibility kubwa sana ya kumove market side ya juu sana. So sometimes utapata vitu zinaitwa stacked imbalances. Stacked imbalances kumaanisha hata sales ama hizo boxes unaonaita sale, utapata sales zimefuatana hivi zikiwa na imbalances. Like for example, utapata this one iko na 0 sellers, 10 buyers, 2 sellers, 50 buyers, 1 seller, 60 buyers, 0 sellers, 400 buyers. So any stacked imbalance, you can see when kuna a lot of imbalance at the same what? At the same place. So in a conscious that the market is most likely to continue going up. Juu hakuna sellers, you can clearly see hakuna sellers. So market will probably keep going up. And a good example, if you take a look at this zone, that exactly happened. Take a look at this zone. Angalia imbalance and it happened. So hii zone yote kuna 0 sellers, but hao wengine wote ni buyers, a lot of buyers. So what clearly happened? After that thing happened, the market ilifanya nini? Market ilifanya kupush side ya juu because of that clear imbalance. So anytime you see imbalance, ukiona tu imbalance kuwa tu unachangamka. Imbalance na inapushing market vibaya sana, either upside or downside. Sana stacked imbalances zinakuwa nini sana. For example, take a look at this footprint. So you have to wait for the footprint to to iishe or you place your positions. So take a look at this footprint. So you can clearly see at this zone kuna stacked imbalances. Yeah. Is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacked imbalances. Hii side ya buyers kuna zeros, but side ya sellers you can see kuna a lot of sellers. So what happened after that? Market shot down like that, simply because kulikuwa na 0 buyers but a lot of sellers. If there are 0 buyers but a lot of sellers, what do you expect? You expect the market to push on the upside. So the same happened on this specific footprint. Let me take a look. Na tunaangalia zenye ziko na large imbalance. Here, take a look at this specific place. Kama huoni vizuri, you can zoom in hapo kwa presentation. Take a look at this place. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacked imbalance. Hii side yote iko na 0 sellers. Hii ni side ya sellers. But hii side yote ni ya buyers. So now venye kuna thousands of buyers but 0 sellers. How did you expect? You expected the market to push up venye ili push juu design new. So imagine it's that simple. All you have to do is to check for stacked imbalance. So stacked imbalances zinawakingi poa hata kuliko nini? Zinawakingi poa hata kuliko the other kinds of imbalances. They work very well. Bora make sure they are stacked. Kupata stacked imbalances, they work better. Upate ka imbalance kamoja hapa, then hakuna imbalance ingine, then you want to force the market to go nini. But if you find stacked imbalances, that's better than one or a single imbalance. But sometimes utapata imbalance moja pia na drive market juu. For example, you'll find something like this. Let me look for a big imbalance. Looking for one imbalance. Unaweza pata like za stacked imbalances kaizi. Yes, ziko na zeros mingi, but on the other hand, hii volume ya buys ikikombiniwa hata ifiki 50k. But utapata another one stacked imbalance, tuseme iko na like 10k sellers, but kwa buyers usipata like 500k. that will definitely push the market up hata kama hii sio zero. You see 10k minus 500k will be like 490k aggressive buyers. So ukipata tu an imbalance with a lot of contracts, it's better than a stacked imbalance, but just make sure iko na a lot of contracts. Footprint yangu ina show V na delta inachange aje. V ni volume, uliselect volume badala ya delta, so go back to hapo hivyo and mark volume, uweke delta. Kuna mtu nimeona alikuwa ameinua mkono, sijui alikuwa nani. Haya, now I hope to get that imbalance. Tutakuwa tunatumia imbalance places mingi sana, so make sure you get that. Haya, so tumesema more ask volume than bid volume inamaanisha nini? Aggressive buyers in control. So that's so definite. So more ask volume this side than bid volume this side inamaanisha there's a lot of buyers in control. Said.
Question nilikuwa nauliza,
Uh-huh.
unaangalia hizo stacked imbalances kwa higher time frame, then unaenda kwa lower time frame kufind buys ama sells ama unatumia hiyo time frame?
Actually, footprint charts works better on a 5-minute time frame and 1-minute time frame.
Okay,
so ukisha analyze na huko higher time frame, usiangalie stacked imbalance, huko kuja angalie sasa stacked imbalances kwa lower time frame.
Okay.
Any other question mpaka hapo hivyo?
Hizo niko na issue bana. Yangu bado footprints inanionyesha volume na inanionyesha delta, then naona zikiwa chini chini, sioni hizo makei kwani rada. Footprint yenye niko nayo natumia hiyo chart ya Binance. But delta zangu naona zinacheza chini chini, yani hazijaona yoyote iko na past hundreds.
Juu
kuna ziko juu, nafaa kuchange aje?
Natumia ni broker mwenye unatumia. The different brokers wanakuwa different.
Go chatting tu.
Si ndio hiyo nasema broker. Ukisearch currency unataka hapa hivi uone hapa hivi kuna different brokers. Ukiangalia hapa hivi kuna different brokers. So wewe kama umeselect very bit sama papers tunama nini, hizo hazina volume. So mimi nimeselect hii ninajiita BTC perpetual futures. Hiyo ndio iko na a lot of volume.
Sawa.
Haya. So as I was saying, well, let me see. So more ask volume, tumesema more ask volume than bid volume inamaanisha kuna aggressive buyers. So anytime you see a lot of volume on a right side, inamaanisha there is an aggressive buyers. Anytime you see a lot of volume on the left side ama on the bid side, inamaanisha there is a aggressive sellers. For example, anytime you see a lot of volume on the let me see whether that kuna a lot of volume on seller side. Yeah, anytime you see a lot of volume from this seller side, inamaanisha kuna aggressive sellers ama a lot of volume on the bid side, kumaanisha kuna aggressive sellers. Haya. So I hope you've seen that imbalance. Now let's go to the delta footprints for the market sentiment. So delta tulisema inapimanga nini? Inapimanga the net buying selling pressure. So delta simply is equals buying volume minus sell volume. So if buyers ni 10, sellers ni 5, delta ni 5. So delta it's almost like an imbalance. So for the delta, you don't have to kuja minus manually. You can see delta tumeandika hapo hivyo juu, but if you want to see delta of each and every level ama imbalance of each and every level, tuseme unakuja tu hapo hivi kwa settings, just click on the settings, then scroll down to hapo hivi kwa bid and ask, utaona option ya delta there. Then you go back to the charts. So it's simply inaonyesha the difference between buyers na sellers. Now if delta is negative, inaonyesha kuna a lot of sellers compared to buyers. For example, if this specific zone, you can see kulikuwa na a lot of sellers compared to buyers, stacked sellers compared to buyers. If delta is positive, inaonyesha kuna a lot of buyers compared to sellers. So positive delta is equals to more buy volume. Negative delta is equals to more sell volume. So I hope you get that. Higher. I can see. Mother, what's your question?
Asking, apart from the stacked imbalances, what time frame should we use when analyzing using go charting?
So when using footprint charts, make sure you're using strictly 30 minutes kwenda chini. Juu ukitumia like 4 hours time frame, in case niweke hapa 4 hours time frame, you won't see change in volume. Utaona change in volume. See 4 hours time frame. Like you won't clearly see change in volume. So imagine sasa you can see where the current price is, volume is negative 2.3 million. You can see. So imagine itatoka negative 2.2 million nini. Itakaa sana before itoke. But ukiweka like a 5 minute time frame, you can clearly see volume ikibadilika like live. You can clearly see the order flow with the change of volume. How is it? You can clearly see the order flow. Chart in now. Let me see. The chart is done. Yeah. So you can clearly see. I don't know how this thing is. So you can clearly see a volume changing. So clearly unaona volume ikichange, unlike kwa time frame you can see inaenda 74k inakuja 22k, you can see ikishuka. So but kwa higher time frame, trust me, you won't see anything. Utashangaa kwani market iko constant, huoni market kimove, huoni market kichange. So just make sure unatumia 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes kuna chini. But for mostly for executions, mimi natumia 5 minutes for executions. Kuna unajuanga ma shift change in volume ikihappen, ama buyers wakidominate ama sellers wakifanya kudominate. So strong positive, tulikuwa kwa delta. So strong positive delta inamaanisha nini? Buyers are dominating. Strong negative delta inamaanisha nini? Sellers are dominating. But for the currency pairs, let's use our currency pairs like GBP USD. For the currency pairs, I'm going to use our Paperstone broker. For the currency pairs, a delta above 10, hiyo ndo tu huwa tuna consider ikiwa aggressive. So if delta is 1, kama hii, hiyo tuna consider ikiwa neutral. But if delta is above 10, you can see 13, 13, 10, 10, hivyo hivyo. Hizo ndo aggressive. So don't execute a trade. For example, tuseme market ilikuwa kwa support, but upate delta ni 5 ama 4 ama 3. Usiassume au ni aggressive bias, like in 3 aggressive bias. Just make sure delta is above what? Delta is above 10 for it to be considered what? For it to be considered aggressive. So don't do below 10. So below 10, neutral. Above 10, aggressive. Haya. Kuna mtu alikuwa ameinua mkono. So according to your information yote tumefanya saini, signs, let's do signs of aggressive bias ni gani? So number 1, increasing ask volume. So if you see ask volume or buy volume, it increase, that's a sign of aggressive buyer. Number 2, large positive delta. Large positive delta. The reason why nimesema large ni juu tumesema 10 is not large, 10 is neutral. So that's number 2. And finally number 3 tumesema nini? Large stacked by imbalance. Large stacked by imbalance. So kama ni stacked imbalances, make sure ziko side ya buy, ndio ujue buyers are dominating. So ukiwa na hizi 3 characteristics, let me tell you, the trades utakuwa unazichapa kati twingine. So number 1 was increasing ask volume. Number 2 was, so for the ask volume chani rudisha bid and ask. For the ask volume tutatafuta side ya ask, bid and ask. So for the ask volumes, tutaangalia side ya buyers. So this side ya buyers, side ya right. So that's the characteristic number 1, increasing ask volume. Number 2, large positive delta. So for the positive delta, tunaangalia huku hivi. So nitawaambia the reason why iko na positive delta but it's going down. That's called absorption. So there's a whole module dedicated to that. So large positive delta indicate nini? A bias of getting aggressive. So that's another characteristic of strong bias. And finally, number 3 ni large stacked buy side imbalances. So for buy side imbalances, hii side ya sellers kulikuwa na to zero, side ya buyers kulikuwa na imbalance size kubwa. So hiyo tumefanya example na tukaona vile ina push market juu. So I hope you don't forget that. Now hizo ni ndo characteristics za strong buyers. Cha tufanye characteristics za strong sellers. So for strong sellers tunaangalia nini? Increasing bid volume. So anytime you see bid side, the east side ya left, iko na increase in volume, increasing bid volume. That's a characteristic of a strong sellers. That's number one. Number two, large negative delta values. Large negative delta. Hii inakuonyesha nini? Aggressive sellers. Anytime you see delta hapa hivi juu ikiwa negative, kumaanisha sellers wamekuwa very strong, ama sellers wamekuwa wengi kuliko buyers. And number three, tunaangalia nini? Stacked imbalances side ya sellers. So tunataka kuona ikiwa side ya sellers na ikiwa side ya buyers, kwa sellers kuna like tuseme iko na 60, iko na 50, iko na 40, but kwa buyers iko na 1, iko na 2, na iko na kitu kama 4. So as side ya sellers kuna a lot of big, large, stacked imbalance. So we make sure the difference between bid and ask ni kubwa, at least unaona hivi kulikuwa na 60 sellers but buyer ni mmoja pekee. So hiyo you are pretty sure lazima itapeleka market chini. But so tulikuwa na 60 sellers na buyers ni 55. So au 5 sellers wamebaki, hakuna place watapeleka market. So lazima nini? Lazima kukuwe na large stacked imbalance, ndio ujue market will probably do what? Market will probably go down. So hizo ndo characters tatu zenye nataka mkuwe mnaangalia each and every time you are looking for what? You are looking for sell positions. Haya, kuna swali mpaka hapa?
Kuna question Pizo. Kama tunaangalia forex pairs tunatumia broker ya Pepperstone ndo tupate volume kubwa.
Actually, you can use any broker kama Pepperstone, either Pepperstone, Boros tumia IC market ama Oanda. So, chanione. So you can use either Pepperstone ama X-Chief. So either Pepperstone ama X-Chief. Zino zinakuanga na more volume compared to the other brokers. So the problem with IC markets ni kama charts zao zinakuanga a little bit cooked. Kama charts zao zinakuanga manipulated a little bit. So yeah, I hope you get that. Swali lingine?
Na vitu kama nini, kama oil vile tunatumia hiyo pia the same X-Chief ama Pepperstone pia ama?
For oil, US oil.
Yeah, US oil, alafu kuna Nasdaq pia.
Chanione US oil. Chanione kama Oanda wako na good volume. Yeah, US oil Oanda wako na good volume, so it's still okay to use Oanda on US oil. So for the US30, actually I've never traded US30 nikitumia footprint chart. So let's see Pepperstone. Yeah, Pepperstone iko sawa na US30. So just make sure you don't use IC market. So IC market sijui shida yao inakuanga gani juu kama charts zao zinakuanga na shida fulani. Sometimes utapata zikiwa like tricky. You can see sasa hii delta yao iko 8 na your previous broker ilikuwa 30. So don't use IC markets. So I hope you get the formula for delta calculations. So it's buy volume minus sell volume. Whatever you get, that's delta. But you don't have to calculate. You obviously inakuanga calculated for you, so you don't have to calculate. So I hope you get that well and clear. Any question?
Pizo. Pizo. My question was, how can you know that the aggressive movement is short or long?
Sorry?
How can you know that this aggressive movement, either buy or sell, is long or short?
It's like long or short. By long and short, what do you mean?
I mean long position and short position.
So if there's a lot of buyers, you're definitely going for buy positions, right?
Yes.
And if there's a lot of sellers, you're going for sell position. So I didn't get your question clearly.
yani nachouliza ni kwamba how can we know that the signs of aggressive movement is in the long run or is in the long position? I mean, and kwamba it's in a long term, maybe itaenda sana au itaenda kidogo.
Oh, unaangalia tu volume. If volume is large, you definitely know your market itaenda sana. But kama volume iko chini, hiyo ni kumaanisha like most probably market haitaenda sana. So large volume kumaanisha aggressive. That's why I'm using the term aggressive. Ni kumaanisha aggressive, either buying or selling. As volume kidogo ni kumaanisha like short term selling. So ukipata sellers ni wadogo kuliko buyers, most probably ukipata market kwa resistance zone, you're looking for sell positions. But yes, sellers wakuje, we are now confirm that market should be going down. Sellers wakuje, but sellers pattern like 10, buyers like watano. That difference of 5 years, market tashuka, but not for a long time. Ukipata sellers ni 100, buyers ni watano, that market would probably go itaenda chini sana compared by like sellers wachache. So you just check volume. You can just check volume. By checking volume, utaangalia tu delta. Unaweza angalia delta. Kasi hivyo uteka the delta footprints instead. Juu inakwambia tu directly ya kuna wengi like this. Badala ya bid and ask, unaweza tu delta hivi. If negatives ndo mingi, sellers ndo wengi. If positives ndo mingi, buyers ndo wengi. I hope may get you. So kuna mtu ameuliza delta CH ni nini? Delta CH ni cumulative delta. So don't use accumulative delta. Cumulative delta unaonyesha like almost siku mzima. And that won't help you. So make sure unatumia delta change bar to bar. Any other question?
Question hizo. Si mtu akifungua market inafaa kwanza angalie daily bias, the direction of the market. So nikiangalia kama footprint kwa 30 minutes time frame hiyo kushuka chini, na daily, kama daily inaniambia tuna buy, alafu footprint inaniambia tuna sell kwa 30 minutes. So nitafuata footprint ama nitafuata daily bias?
So utafuata tu footprint. Juu hata daily bias iseme watu wa sell na but upate kuna aggressive bias, hata msell market haitashuka. Market itafuata tu kwenye kuna volume kubwa. So all you have to do utafuata tu footprint. Ukipata market kwa resistance, unaona hii ni a good perfect sell, but bala sellers wakuwe wengi, unapata ni buyers wengi, your market will still keep going up. So the best thing you find kufuata tu footprint charts.
Okay, so.
So you might want to check the imbalance. To imbalance pia kupeleka market crazy. Imbalance ufanya market either ishuke aggressively ama ishuke ama ipande aggressively. So napendanga sana kufanya example na BTC/USD. BTC/USD inakuwa na large volume compared to other currency pairs, but the same concept yenye tunatumia huku hivi kwa BTC/USD no the same concept tutatumia kwa currency pairs. Any other question? So for example, let this specific resistance zone hapa hivi, all you have to do is to wait ndo uone a lot of aggressive sellers. All you have to do is to wait for aggressive sellers. On a support zone, all you have to do is to wait one aggressive buyers. So you just draw the support and resistance normally. Just normally. You don't ufanye nini? Venye tu unachoranga nini kind of trend lines normally. Ndo tu mtu uchora. You wait for the market mpaka iguze your trend line, ndo decide whether to go in for buys ama whether to go in for sales. Another question? So I hope siwapeleki mbio. So we are done with that module. So we are done with module 2. So meaning tomorrow we are going to cover what? Tomorrow we are going to cover module 3. Module 3 itakuwa order flow, imbalances and high volume nodes. Kuna dem aliuliza story na high volume nodes. So that's what we are going to cover tomorrow. So we're going to spot large buy and sell orders. we're going to spot, high volume nodes, low volume nodes, and key prices areas. Actually, pia unfinished auctions known as vocation. Yeah, pia unfinished auctions, they are part of tomorrow's class. So just make sure you don't miss tomorrow's session. So kuna mtu anasema, please talk about footprint chart on gold. So I rarely trade gold. So watu wenye mna trading gold itabidi mkuwe mnafanya nini? Mna backtest na footprints na mtuambie kaa hu respect. Spendi gold vile biju. Sometimes napatanga a lot of traders wakikuwa liquidated. What I know ni gold, most of the time prices za gold zinakuwa controlled by central banks. Unlike any currency pairs, prices za gold mostly zinakuwa controlled by the central banks, not volume ya traders. Hata mbuy gold aje, hata msell gold aje, mwisell aje huku kwa nini forex spot nini futures, hata mwisell aje, haitafanya gold zenye ziko kwa banks zi lose value. So utapata mostly gold ikikosa ku respect footprint charts, so that's why I don't trade gold if you don't know. Abdikadir.
Yeah, I was asking, umsema ukidraw resistant line iguze mara mbili alafu na take trade mara ya tatu, si ndio?
Yeah.
So is it must ungoje mara ya tatu ama unaweza take trade hadi mara ya pili?
So lazima ugoje mara ya tatu. You first to remember tukiwa high school ama primary, wezi chora graph ukiwa na 1 point like this. Juu ka utapeleka line hivi juu, utaipeleka hivi chini ama utaipeleka side. But ukiwa na 2 points of interest like hivi, utajua tu itaguza hii ya kwanza then kuja ya pili then we extend. So all you have to do is to wait for what market kuje guze mara ya tatu.
Okay, and iki disrespect your support ama resistance, unangoja iretest ndio take trade?
Sio lazima ugoje iretest. As long as haija breakout, all you have to do ni kugoja hiyo market fanye ifike kwa hii zone, ikuonyeshe aggressive sellers. Ikuonyesha aggressive sellers, market will probably do what? Drop down.
As in nasema iki disrespect i breakout.
In case it breakout, achana hiyo trade mpaka ikuje retest. Iki retest, ndo tu utafanya nini? Utaingia for buys. Na pia iki retest, lazima hapa hivi kwenye ime retest, utafuta aggressive buyers. Ndio tena isikuwe ilikuwa fake breakout hivi.
Okay.
Yeah. Samuel Getao.
Swali yangu ni umesema kwa nini, if the delta is negative the market inafaa kwenda chini, alafu on the last bearish candle hiyo ndogo hapo hivi kwa chart inasema the delta is 107k but the market went up.
Ati swali yako ilikuwa?
Umesema delta ikiwa negative na ikiwa kubwa the market inafaa kwenda chini.
Yeah.
But the last bearish candle hapo kwa chart inasema the delta was 107k negative but the market ikakuwa bullish.
So what we do, you don't trade footprint charts on on anywhere. So even wanaambianga students wangu, ukifungua footprint charts upate kwenye tu footprint yenye iko sahi, you wanna place for your positions there. Lazima ikuwa na point of interest. So point of interest, it's either ikuwe kwa resistance ama let me do this. It's either ikuwe kwa resistance ama kwa support. So you only trade price ikiguza hapo ama hapo ama hapo ama hapo hivyo. Kasi hivyo, it's either utumie nini kitu inaitwa Fibonacci retracement. So you can only trade price ikifika kwa that point of interest. So ati market is going up, wewe umeamka ukaipata ikiwa tu hapo hivyo, unataka kuangalia footprint yenye iko hapo. There's no point of interest, there's nothing there to check. So you can't just trade with one confluence. Lazima uwe na like 3 or more confluences. Umeelewa?
Yeah.
Becky.
During the model utatuguzia kuhusu bar statistics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though bar statistics zinakonga tu a summary of the whole footprint. Na tu kaa hutaki kusoma footprint, so bar statistic inakuonyesha na kila kitu, kama ni delta, kama ni buy volume, kama ni sell volume, kama ni anything. So ni summary tu ya footprint. So inakuwa na additional information. But we'll go through. Said. Okay, Anthony.
Pizzo.
Uh-huh.
Hello. Nikuulize, does it work also on moving averages? Like venye unapatanga candles zinakuja zina retest kwa moving average. Does it also do the same? Footprint charts.
So honestly, I don't trade moving average that way. So I'll show you guys training moving average kuja ni hapo. But it might work like that. I understand sometimes moving averages working kama support or sometimes kama resistance. So if in case market goes at that moving average, so make sure you're looking for respective positions. If kama ni sales, ukuwe na aggressive sellers. But market kuuza moving average, but bado buyers ni wengi, avoid that trade. So it's all the same. Yeah, najua moving averages is mostly zinaworking kama support ama resistance. But for me natumia moving average kujua direction of the market. Betwell. Betwell.
Yes, hi. Nilikuwa nauliza about now this support and resistance. Kuna specific time frame that you're supposed to be like drawing your support and resistance? Because like different time frame, different support and resistance. Ama do you have a specific one that unatumia maybe 15 minutes ama 5 minutes?
So unaweza chora tu kwa any time frame yenye unataka from 1 hour kwenda chini. But once ni kutafuta entries, make sure unatafuta 5 minutes or at least one the difference in volume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ukitumia lower time frame ndio utaona the difference in net volume na utajua tu aggressive buyers wakiingia. Like utaona tu hii number ni abnormal. Utapata like normal bid and ask ni 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 2. But suddenly upate kitu kama 50 by 2, 30 by 1. So definitely utajua aggressive sellers wameingia at that specific point. But kwa time frames utaona hii volume ikichange sana. So make sure you go down to lower time frames.
Sawa, thank you.
Kitama Kacha. Peter, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. Unaweza ongelelea hiyo mambo ya unapata kama kuna mahali kuna trend inaenda chini na kuna positive delta na saa ingine kama market inaenda juu na kuna negative delta some places.
So there's the topic dedicated to that. It's called absorption. So strongly once we get to that.
Thank you.
I can see there's no more hand up. Mentioned confluence. Kindly explain it. By confluence, in maanisha kukuwe na more reasons of trading in that specific zone. So footprints is a compare to like exact entry of what to do. So before you start analyzing a footprint, lazima ukuwe ulikuwa umetoka kwa trading view, unafanya analysis yako either na fair value gap, or support, resistance, order block, liquidity, whatever ulikuwa unatumia kutrade before footprint, hiyo ndo tu utaendelea kutumia kutrade nayo. So footprint tutakuwa unangoja tu price iende kwenye wewe ulikuwa unafikiria I'll be looking for buys hapa. In case pate buy signal kutoka kwa footprint, that's why you're going to take buy signal. Kipata sellers ndo wengi na ulikuwa unatafuta buy, avoid that trade. So it's simple. So utumie footprint peke yake. Strategy yenye ulikuwa unatumia before tuanze footprint, most probably ndo utajipata ukitumia hapa hivi, then footprint for confirmation. Haya. So if there's no more questions, guys, allow me to patane tomorrow at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. once more. Tutaendelea na module 3. So you guys have a good night.